In this video, I am going to give it a review on how to create assignments in itslearning, and I will also review how to use the Google integration feature with assignments in itslearning. All right, so I'm going to work with this course titled Differentiated Instruction, and I'm going to create an assignment that is linked to a Google Doc. So I've already prepared the Google Doc. So the first step is to create a template. Now this template could have questions like I have here, or it could simply be a blank page that says, write your essay below. You would want to give the title of your template a title that you would recognize for the assignment. Okay, so if it was an essay on World War II, you might call it World War II assignment or just World War II essay. Now that I have the template created, I'm going to come back over to itslearning, and I'm going to choose my Add button here. Now, my most used apps will show up, but if I want to see more items than this, I can choose Show All. Now, if I scroll down, so the first section is resources, the second section is activities. There is an assignment activity and a task activity. The difference between the two is the assignment activity will allow you to use the Google integration and allows the students to submit answers electronically. The task feature has no electronic submission. So if it was something where they did not have to turn something in or something needed to be turned in by hand, you would use the task feature. So for our purposes, this is going to be an electronic submission, so therefore we are going to use the assignment feature. When I choose the assignment feature, I am going to put my assignment instructions in details on this left part of the screen, and on the right part of the screen, I will put in additional deadlines, visibility, assessment types, etc. So I am going to go ahead and just name this assignment example. And then in the instructions, I'm going to say click answer below and type your responses in the Google Doc provided. Now here's where I'm going to add my file. So I'm going to choose Google Drive. Now if you've never connected your itslearning to your Google Drive before, it will ask you which account. I have connected it before, so it's going immediately to my Tri-County Google Drive account. Now I titled that template I created Google template, there it is, Google template example. So now I can see it is attached here, and at this point I'm going to choose make a copy for each student. So what that is going to do is when the student presses answer, it's going to open the Google Doc and add their name, and it will automatically be shared. And the nice thing is that it keeps the ownership of that document as a Tri-County document, so that if a student goes and accidentally deletes that document, it's still available for the teacher. Now over here, I'm going to say yes, I want students to be able to see this. I am also going to give a deadline. So I might say on the 15th. If I choose close after deadline, students will not be able to submit after the deadlines. I typically don't close that out because I want students to be able to submit it late. And then my assessment scale. In this case, I'm just going to say this is either going to be satisfactory or unsatisfactory. Add to gradebook. That does not go to the PowerSchool gradebook. It goes only to the itslearning gradebook, so there's no impact on overall grades in PowerSchool. I usually add it to the gradebook just because it makes it a little bit easier for me to see who has done what. There's no peer assessment. The students can see their results. Some teachers choose to uncheck that and then make it and come back and check it after everything has been corrected so that students don't get results before other students. So that's a preference there. And then you can say whether it's mandatory or not. And I don't typically use the names are hidden when assessing, but you could certainly do that. And if students are doing this individually, you would not check off submit as a group. So now that I've gone through all of that, I am going to choose create assignment. So now that I've chosen create assignment, this assignment is going to be created and available to students immediately since I did choose visible for students. So what I'm going to do now is come on over to log in as a student. And here I am in the differentiated instruction course. And on the student page, I have a taskbar here. In this taskbar, it will show all of the assignments that I have to do in this course. So here's that example assignment right here. When I click on this, it will open up and the student will be able to read the instructions that were typed in. And it also says your teacher has created a file where you can write your answers. And it shows the file there. When I choose answer assignment, a file is created with the student's name. It does take a minute sometimes. All right, so here it's prompting me to sign in with my Google account that's associated with this account. And this account does have a different okay. Clearly this would be for a student email since I'm just acting as a student. I am using a personal account. The students would be using their Tri-County account. So notice that the student's name, I'm in it as a demo student, plus the title of the assignment. It's not the Google Doc title, but the actual title of the assignment in itslearning shows up for the student. Now the student can begin typing. Now, since this is a Google Doc, it automatically saves. So if the student X's out, notice that they can go back and open it, in which case it would reopen. They could continue working, or they can choose submit, and that will notify the teacher that the work is completed. So I'm going to go back over to the teacher side now. And if I just refresh the screen, so you can see my students in my course are listed right here. And let me get back to that assignment. That assignment for me to find would always be in my resource list. And it automatically is added to the bottom. I can move it if I'd like. But if I open up that assignment, I can see that nobody has submitted. But if I look here, I can see someone has started it. That little I says someone has started it. So I can actually click. And it tells me this is currently saved as a draft. So I know the student is not finished working on it yet. But I can see how they are doing. I can also have a discussion with the student here. I can open this in Google Docs so that I can actually provide comments as the student is working if I'd like. And the student can continue editing this. However, if I choose to correct it at this time before the student has submitted, they would no longer be able to edit. Or even if I choose correction in progress, the student will no longer be able to edit it. But it is nice that you can see what they're doing before they've even submitted it. And you can always start to give discussion and feedback before it's been assessed. And you can see that you have correction in progress. You can choose satisfactory or not satisfactory here, but the actual assessment that goes in the gradebook is selected here. And NHI means not handed in. Okay. So in the assignment feature, I get a quick view of who started it, who's completed it, and who hasn't even looked at it yet. I can still come and edit the instructions if I need to do that. But what I also want to show you is now in my Google Drive, if I go to my Shared With Me section, notice that It's Learning created a folder with that assignment name in it. That assignment is assignment example. When I open that folder, I have the actual template, which is the blank doc, and the answers. So I know thus far only this student has created. So there's more than one way to get to the assignments. If you have a course with 60 students, it's difficult to find. So it's still easiest to view it in the It's Learning assignment. But they are also saved in the Google Drive as well. I hope this helps add a little organization and help with the assignment feature. The only other thing I would want to show you is once the assignment is here, you have these 3 dots, which will allow you to assign permissions. So by default, if you don't give anybody permissions, it actually gives everyone permission to participate. But if you only want to assign it to specific students, you can say select who can participate, and that will be answer. Now, if I go to participants, I can say, oh, I only want this for the demo student and the academic teacher. When I do that, and I have to choose add and then save, now the other participants in this course will not have access or even see that assignment, because as soon as you give one person permission, it eliminates permission from everybody else. Okay, so that's another way. If you have multiple assignments that go to different people, you can give permission so that only specific students can access a particular assignment.